In this video, I'm going to be discussing Windows subsystem for Linux, and I'm going to talk about Kali Linux. It's going to be a full course, and it's going to be installing the version Kali-Linux-large, which is about 700 some for packages just for Python pep packages. In addition, there's a lot of Linux kernel and then all the applications and tools that are just you need it for security purposes. When Kali Linux is very secure operating system, it is basically for penetration testing and all the kind of hacking, but ethical hacking, not unethical. So please be aware that when you're learning these tools, you're going to help your community, not just make it worse for other people. Since I mentioned that this is going to be a full course, I'm going to be covering a lot more of Kali Linux and Windows subsystem on Linux, and then how to install one, how to remove one, uninstall one, how to use the WSL command lines, how to use the app to install packages and modules, and in addition, how to use Python, how to use Visual Studio Code, how to use Jupyter-Lab, and how to use C, C++, a lot of bash scripting, a lot of syntax of softwares that are just really hard to, just really hard to get in one Linux session. I'm going to be covering a lot of them. And then basically, I'll be discussing Linux Kali, which is a secure version. And then let's get started with that one. You will learn a lot, and just that's all I'm promising you. And just stay tuned on each of the topic I'll discuss. I'll cover a lot more than regular YouTube channel. So this is all brought to you at youtube.com. My channel handle is at MyWebUniversity. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, after this video, if you feel that I earn your credit to just subscribe, please subscribe and share it with your loved ones. By sharing, you care, and you are going to pass it on to the next person. We all are gonna just have a great job, a little bit enhanced career, and a little bit of more job security by knowing all this stuff. At the same time, if you're a student, you will help your assignments to be done faster. So the first thing that you need to do is on Windows, when you open a Windows PowerShell terminal and you run the WSL command to just set your default version to version 2. Version 1 was the previous one, and the version 2 is a lot more kind of documentation is provided here on this HTTPS, which I could show you afterward on the screen. Basically, you set this default version to version 2, so you get the latest features that are available for Linux. And the way you do it, you can see it that you right-click on a PowerShell and then open it as a system administrator privilege. By administrator privilege, you have more access to just set your environment better. So you cannot do it as a regular user. So you have to open it as administrator first, and then at the PowerShell prompt, you type in WSL --set default --version, and then 2. Notice these are lowercase because PowerShell is case sensitive with variables. So make sure that the variables are as appropriate. Don't type uppercase V or anything that's gonna not recognize it. So that's important. And also this documentation, you can open using open command or the URL on the PowerShell, and then you can see the entire helpful information. In addition, the second step after you did this one, on the PowerShell prompt again as administrator, you run the enable Windows option features -online -feature name, and then the feature name in this case is Microsoft Windows Subsystem Linux. So there's two features that you have to enable. One is Microsoft Windows Subsystem, which is the Windows Subsystem WSL. The other one is for making the Active Directory, not Active Directory, the feature for virtual machine platform enabled. And that is also running it, but this one is, instead of the enable, you're running the deployment image service management, which is a binary that is provided in PowerShell on C colon Windows System 32. And this deployment image service and management tool, you have these flags /online/enable features. And then the feature name in this case is virtual machine platform. You can also set it under Windows, these two features, by just on the start type feature, enable features on and off, and then you set the feature for virtual machine platform. You enable that one by checking the button that I showed you on the previous video, and also the one for WSL. So those are the two that you need to enable it. In fact, I will show you as soon as I get into that level. Let me just show you first what we're doing it. This one was a previous installation of Windows Subsystem Linux. And as you can see that I had already installed, sorry, about to sneeze again. So Kali Linux is installed, and then we just start getting Kali Linux with the installation, and this is a prompt that you can see I'm doing git int and other stuff. Some of them, like lsb underscore release, you say it's not found, you can install the module if by default it's not there. Most of the systems, some of them, you can see the init, which is system 5 version. Init is the old system 5 release 4 kind of Linux environment that was replaced by system D, which was starting with Red Hat 7 and then Ubuntu 16 and all these other versions that were doing it. Most of the Linux, whether it's running on VirtualBox or on a standalone VM or a standalone server, they are running Linux system D, which is the latest and greatest one. But all the WSL except Ubuntu, and they are still on services, which is using init. Init is used, but system D can enable services, and then you can start services with service command on Kali. On Linux Ubuntu, however, you can still use system D on those ones. I'll show you. I actually showed you on the other video, but I will make another video for just Ubuntu to show you the details of it, like this course. And this course is going to be a full course, so I'm going to explain a lot for you here. And then this is about Kali Linux full course. And these are some of the desktop wallpapers. So you can see that each one of them, I just give you a sample of a list of wallpapers on Linux Kali. And then that is another one. You can see that I just made some just for the entertainment purpose, so you could know that it is supporting 100% graphical interface, very nice interface, very nice wallpapers, cool stuff. So you will enjoy it when you are using it. And then the version that you could install Kali Win-Kix is a module that you can install with app update. Basically will update your system, making your system up to date with etc app repository. And then once your system is up to date, that you have the latest and greatest packages, then you can install apt install -y, meaning that yes, don't prompt you. If you just don't say any -y after this, it's going to prompt you whether you want to update or not. Then you can say no if you don't want to update it at this time, or you could say yes and then continue. This one is saying that I want to install this Kali-Win-Kix, and this Kali-Win-Kix is one of them that you have the option. you can go to kali.org, and then a lot of this documentation is also there. So you're welcome to just do your own research, and there's a lot of documentation. But I summarize these ones for you in order to just, and instead of just having a course that you have to take at college for the entire semester, or maybe instead of going to pay for a lot of those certificate courses, 2 weeks or 1 week or 10 days or 1 day or two weekends or something, that's going to be a lot of hours. And then I'm just trying to teach you everything that you need to know as a summary. And then you could just continue on going to kali.org for documentation and learn more. So in this case, the example that I'm showing here, after you did the previous command, which was apt install -y kali linux kali win -linux, this module gets installed on your system. Now you can be on the Kali Linux operating system, and then at the prompt of the Kali Linux $, which is there, normally you become root, and then you run kix -win-s. -win means running like a Windows subsystem, and then -s is giving you sound support. And then also, if you're doing it from command line, you could do WSL-D. D means distribution. The distribution name is Kali Linux, because when we install Kali, it comes out as Kali-Linux. And then this argument is just passed on as argument to Kali-Linux. So kix is the command, and then -win-s is the argument to kix. But the whole three of them is argument to this. So you can run that one, and then WSL kicks starts for you. Another way you could do it is the one that I'm going to show you on this video, that I had already done it, and then I'm going to delete it first, clean it up, terminate it, shut it down, power it off, and then clean it up from Microsoft Store. And after that one, I will do a complete reinstall of Kali Linux for you using Kali-Linux-large package. This is the entire Kali Linux security tools that are on here, all the security options that are there, whether it's penetration testing or Nmap or anything that you are doing, all these kind of security software. In addition of these tools that are done, if I just install C and C++ and Python, Jupyter-Lab, now I have Visual Studio Code, I have my development environment, I can just write 1,000 of other security and cyber stuff, and then could enhance it. But you know, the ethical part of it is that whenever you're learning this, you're learning for the sake of humanity. Whether you learn artificial intelligence, data science, programming, robotic, animation, graphic, game, you just don't want to just hurt other people's environment or cause inconvenience for others. You want to just serve the humanity. That is what I'm here coming from, and I'm trying to help you so you can become ethical hacker or ethical developer or ethical software, somebody that who can help others. By you helping others, you just basically make our community shine altogether. There's also the enhanced session mode option. So the kicks, when you do man pages on the kicks, you get all these options, whether that's enhanced session mode, the E stand for enhance, S for session, M is mode. And then --IP is getting the local IP address of the machine, and -S is for sound. So you could do that one on the Kali operating system, or you could just do from the PowerShell command with Windows subsystem -D distribution name, and then this argument after that. So that's also another option that you can run. And then I want to thank you for watching my channel. And if you haven't subscribed, please make sure that you subscribe and share it with your loved ones. I know that someday this is going to be in hundreds of thousands of people are going to subscribe and watch it. But here's a chance for you to share it with your loved ones, and that way earlier enough, you will see all these videos and subscribe it, and then you could get all the goodies without paying anywhere, whether going to college, whether you're just driving somewhere. You just sit down at your own luxury of home, and then with the fingertips of, going a few buttons clicks, you could watch it and learn it and enjoy it and just get educated. And that's what I'm going to be there for you. I have done a lot of videos, and I hope you're going to just subscribe and enjoy it. By you sharing it, you're actually helping me as well, because that's my goal, to just help the community. So let's get started with the actual course. Now we have done the presentation. We're not done. I'm going to show you what we need to do here. So as you can see, I'm on a Windows operating system, which in this case is the host operating system is Windows. So if I just click here, and on the search, I type in about this PC, you can see that my computer is basically, the name is Algorithm, it's a 11th generation, 3.4 gigahertz, and all that details are here. And then the Windows operating system is Windows 11 Professional Edition, the build version, all that information is there. At the same time, I can get that one from the command line. If I just want to open this one and say system info, and then type more, all the details is there too. I had shown you in the past, those details, right? So the processor, the speed, and the memory, all of that one is there. At the same time, if I just say the system information here on the Mac, and the start, this graphical interface provide me that information also. So there's a lot of ways to get it. If I just type in the device manager, for example, on this one, you can see that all the details of your system, as well as the processor speed and other ones. So how many processor you have, what monitor. Let's say I click here, you can see that I have 8 processors, or how many it is there, 11th generation. It's at 3.4 gigahertz, and that we already saw with the system information. You could just open a CMD here and say system info, and then find a string /i, and then model. Model is like the processor model. You can see that it is many IT11 Intel 64-bit, and then it's a 3.4 gigahertz the speed of it, right? So you can see all of that details there also. And also, like I showed you the command, you could say host name here, it will say algorithm. Remember the about page, the first thing it says the host name is there. There's a lot of arguments on these commands that you can just type in and get it. But at the same time, I'm just showing you that now your host operating system is Windows, and then at the same time, your processor. Let's just open, I showed you processor, the memory is 32 gig. I showed you that one. I could just open a terminal as run as administrator. And then when you just right click on this PowerShell command here, this is the PowerShell prompt. I could type in, click run, and then just open that one as PowerShell. Now, this background, I already customized it. And the way you customize those ones, you go under properties, and then you go to colors, for example. And then I just chose 39 for all red, green, blue, and then I made up this color. Same thing with the other information that you could just do. And then the font size, what size it is there. I wanted to make it this size, so it would be good for you to take a look at, and then that is pretty good, right? So let me just move it down a little bit, because that one, my zoom was on top of it. I couldn't see the PowerShell version. And notice that it shows here as administrator. That means I can run any administrator command. Since I'm on PowerShell command, I could also type in system info right here, and then say find a string /i, find/i, and then just say, in this case, rather than OS name, let's get the memory. So that would just return memory. You can see I have 32 gig of memory. And then at this time I say, well, that's good. I could just run other system. And as you see in the past, I did installation of VirtualBox VMs, Rocky Red Hat and Rocky 9. Some of my courses that if you just go there, are a lot of videos on it. And then if you just look at the most popular one, this video is Red Hat 9 Enterprise Linux from 0 to hero. That's full course. And it's going to teach you a lot of them. I mean, so far it's about close to 15,000 people are watching it. A lot of people are making nice comments. Similarly for Rocky Linux, Red Hat, Rocky version, and then similarly for PDF and then Solaris operating system. There's a lot of advanced and shell programming, Python programming, C, C++, Linux, Ubuntu, 6 hours video, those are all there. So you're going to just enjoy them. Why did I come from there? Because I did provide you all of these ones on VirtualBox already. So this one, we have enough in memory to just install a lot of Linux virtual machine as guest. Whether you're running it as a VirtualBox or a VMware software or a Windows subsystem. I have already done on VirtualBox and other ones. I'm going to do Windows subsystem on Kali in this video. So first, you know that we saw that memory, and then if I just say, what is the OS name? You can see that my OS name is also 32 gig and then Windows 11, right? So if I just clear my screen, rather than find a string that was giving me so many names, because find a string is like grep command on Linux. So if you do a find, it is going to match only this string. But find a string would match for OS and also search for name, as if like there are two different variables. So that's why find a string give you a lot more than OS name, which is find command does. So now we know how about the model. We already gave you that one. So whether you open it from a PowerShell command or from another one, you're still getting that information from both of them, right? So let me just do a find/i model system info failed to run. The pipe is being closed. So let's see why this one came out with that message. It should not go there. Find. Looks like a find command itself might not be there. So let me just do find a string here. Yeah. So a find command is on a DOS command, but not a PowerShell command. When you do replace that one within PowerShell, it would fail. But if I just open a CMD here, now I'm on DOS prompt, I could say system info and then find command/i. This would return for me find, because that find command is executable on DOS, disk operating system, which is command prompt of this. So volume name, version name, all of that is there. So I'm going to exit out of the DOS. I'm going to come back on PowerShell here, and then we're going to run the find a string, and that give the information that I want. If I wanted model number, and I get it. If I wanted the memory, I get it. So we have all the resources we need for this Windows subsystem for Linux. That's all I'm showing you right now. But now you have it. What is the command to spin off another one if we have to do it? So there's a number of ways you can run. You can go to Microsoft Store, and then by going to Microsoft Store, you can search for existing one. So if I search for WSL Kali, I already have installed it. You can see here it says install Kali Linux is installed. This is from the graphical interface. You can see if I want to just open it, I could just click on this one and then it will have an option of open because it is already previously installed. So if I click on open, it comes in and then opens this terminal. Now I'm on Kali Linux. If I just say hostname, it is, sorry, clear screen hostname, and then it's there. So Control plus makes my screen bigger so you can see it better. I'm going to make it that size. And if I just say clear screen, say cat minus entity COS-release, then you can see it as Kali version 2024.4. And then the name of the OS is Kali GNU Linux rolling, right? So this is what is good about it. You can also type in uname-a, get all the parameter, or uname-s for and the system name, uname-o for operating system version, uname-r for build or kernel build version 5.15. So there's a lot of them, and if you just decided to say uname help would give you that entire definition of what is covered there. Let's just make it like this size, and that's good enough. So if I just make it like that, I actually want to make it big because I don't want you to just have these extra ones there. I think that's more useful there. Yet the other problem is I'm going to move my zoom out of the way. Right here is good enough, and then now I can type in and clear the screen and type it on the top. So if I just run like so I say top, there's a top command. The funny thing is about Linux, there's thousands of commands. So if I say user share man, do you see that all these manual pages that are under man 1 through man section 9? In addition, there's other ones that are there. There's a lot of these man pages. So if I just say ls-l user share man and then man question mark, notice that there's all these ones, all these again zip files, because if this XRDP is for remote desktop connection, it's under section 8 of it. So when you do a man XRDP, it's gonna just open this file because it says section 8. And then you can see that it's section 8 and section 8 here. If I just didn't do that one, I could say man minus s section 8 XRDP. By default, if there's one command under that section, it opens that file under that section you can see right here. So there's how many of them are there? Let's just find out. We just did this and we got this one, and let's say we do a word count minus L, and it's 10,328 commands, and that's a lot, right? So 10,000, and each one of them could have 1 to 5 or to 10 or 20 arguments. So that could move it to 100,000. And then if you go to my website on this documentation, for example, I made these resources available for you. I wrote the book, The Direct Path to Linux Ubuntu. The entire book, I made it available for you for free, having 14 chapters that is all online that you could come in and then at your fingertips, you could learn these commands. For example, if you go to advanced level, if you're an advanced person on the Linux, I have 88 commands here. For each row, I have a video here that you could watch. And you could just learn one after the other one. So like, for example, the last one is Linux advanced level commands, advanced chapter 4, part 8 of 8. So this is part 8 of 8. This is 8, and then part 8 of 8. So part 1 of 8 is this one. Part 2 of 8 is this one. If you just click on each one of these commands, you could practice it online, or just come in. If the command is not security stuff, you could just click on it and say, okay, this is a system D, process the S3, show me the system D. Now you see the system D, and this was your process stream 3 process ID 1, and this one invoked all these child processes, whether it's scheduler, whether it's uh, any other process, you can name it. They're all under system D. So on Kali Linux is init rather than system D. And I'll show you those ones, the differences here. So under Kali Linux, like right here, I am there. If I say PS3 1, you can see that process stream 3 is just giving you a net rather than system D. And notice that when you do the process stream 3 of 1, saying that what is this process is invoking, and so show me in process stream 3, a tree structure like with all the process number and thread number. You can get all that information here. You could say minus P, and then you could get the process numbers right here. You see that? And then if you say minus T also for thread number, so for each process that if there's a sub-thread, then you will get the threads number also there. And you can see that the numbers are there. So this is this process invoke this process, and this process invoke these smaller sub processes. So they all go hand in hand with helping you. Why am I showing you this? PS minus P1, you can see that this one is a net is the mother of all processes. So process ID 1. So if I say PS by itself, you can see I'm using bash. So how do I know my default shell is bash echo $shell? It's telling me that I'm using bin bash. If I want to say, how do I know that one? ID-UN, it says I'm logged on as Wahid. If we say, who am I? It's going to say, I did not remotely log in, I log in locally, so I have to type in who am I without the space. If you are SSHing to a machine, when you type in who am I, it's going to give you a lot of the IP address of local and the IP address of remote machine that you're coming. So here, when I show you PS that is there, and I say echo $home, for example, is home Wahid, and echo $PWD is the current working directory that's pointing. But at the same time, if I say get end a password Wahid, that is going to tell me that on the password file, I have an entry for the password, which is and the etc shadow file, and then a user ID with 1000, group ID with 1000. There's no real name. I could have put in Wahidullah as a real name, or could modify user mode and then just add it. And then this slash home is my home directory, slash bin is my bash script, default one that I'm using. So there's a lot of stuff you could do here. Clear screen echo $PS1. $PS1 is prompt shell 1. Prompt shell 1 is saying that, okay, I'm logged on this system, and then this is actually getting interpreted from a file called .bash or C or etc profile, depending on which one you have. If you have .bash or C, which is like on your home directory, clear screen, and let's say echo this, and then pwd. If I say ls-self.bash or C, that file is there. So grep -i, actually grep ps1 on .bash or C, .bash or C, there's that entry that ps1 prompt shell 1 is defined here. So all this syntax that it says set the color and then set the $, I'll explain a few of them, but notice that whenever your shell is set on that file, it has an if statement of that. Look at that .bash or C here. So the bash or C says case $this and this, just to return that. So all of these comparison and then set option and other ones are there. But for the prompt shell 1, it's going to check for these things, and it's going to say, well, once you're logged on as a regular user, just set up the prompt to $, and if you're logged on as root, then set the prompt as £. But before it interpreted that one, and now echo $PS1, PS1 uppercase prompt shell 1. Notice that it says that this one is the color. This one is saying /u means the username. So in there's a case, and the username is Wahid, because ID-un returns Wahid. So /u on the .bash or C, when it reads that file, /u means that give the username. If user is root, it would say root instead of Wahid, wherever the user is. Then @ symbol is going to just put the @ symbol right here. You see that @ symbol, @ symbol? So @ symbol and then /h means host name. The host name is algorithm. So if I just type in this one, it's just going to return that string. Then it goes all the way to these ones and then put these brackets. And then at some point, it has to say the tilde, which is the current working directory here. That's /w right there. That /w is saying that the working directory. So if I just say make a directory to desktop, if it is not there, it will create it. So now I go cd to desktop, and now notice this is there. So my print working directory is pointing to the desktop directory. As soon as I cd to tilde, that is going to go /home Wahid by itself, because that is my echo $home is pointing to home Wahid. So that's why the system knows those environments. But again, if you look at the clear screen, echo $PS1, you can see prompt shell 1, and then after at some point it's going to put the W and then $, right here, and then at the end it closes the coloring. So it puts that bracket and then closes this is the bracket, and then after that one it is just giving you the $, and then close the color. So that syntax is getting from Debian change root stuff. So how do I become root? Now I say ID-un. I'm a regular user. If I'm on the sudo files, grep-i wahid etc group, see, I have the option to just sudo on this machine. Because I'm on the sudo files allowed in that group, so now I could do sudo dash. This is saying switch user do switch user with root. And then I just have to type in the password. And let me see if I just still remember that password. I'm not sure if I type it in correctly or not, but this time I will type it correctly. So if you type in the password the first time inaccurate, it says, sorry, try again. And then after a few times, it will log it for you. So make sure that you understand your password. And then if you forgot, you can always, once you're root here, you can always update the password. So if I just say update the password, they say pass WD for Wahid, then it could say, make it something that I can remember easily. And now I just change the password there. But notice here, echo $PS1, this is the same, but notice that it changed as soon as I become root, it just changed it to pound rather than $. If I exit out of this one, echo $1 is just making the $prompt. So you understand the difference there, okay?